FC25 is finally here, and thanks to the EA Creator Network I was able to play the game a couple of days early so I could play around with the new FC IQ system and get a basic understanding for how this new system works. And in that time I've put together some basic tactics that will help you guys out for the first couple of weeks of FC25. But before we get to the custom tactics, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe to the channel for more FC25 tips and tricks. Before we get to FC IQ, you need to understand what roles are in FC25. So every position in FC25 will have roles, and these roles will determine how well a player can play in that position. We'll take Foden for example. As you can see, as a right wing, he is great as a wide playmaker. He is even better as an inside forward because he has that role plus. It means he is one of the best players in the game as an inside forward. That's going to be incredibly important for these tactics, but we'll get to that later on. But just remember, when you're setting up these tactics, you need to make sure these players have the right roles. If they have the plus or the plus, that's incredibly important for how well these tactics are going to perform. I'll give examples of players that you can get into your team later on when we come to each role. So I'm going to presume this is your first time setting up your tactics in FC25. To access the FC IQ menu, hit your left thumbstick on your squad screen, go to team management, and then you'll be brought into the FC IQ menu, and then you want to hit edit tactics. Once you do that, you'll be hit with this menu. So for the formation, just make sure you're in the 4-3-3 holding. I find it works really well. Good balance in midfield, very good defensively, and attackingly it'll give you plenty of options. For tactical preset, you want to set that to custom. Go down to build up style play and set this as counter. Now don't presume because this is on counter you're always going to be on the back foot in the game. I actually really dominate possession with this formation. Because of the way the two centre mids and the CDM are set up in this formation, whenever you're stuck for a pass, your right centre mid or your CDM is always available just outside the box for a nice easy free pass. So just make sure you keep that in mind when you're using these tactics. Your two centre mids are always available if you're ever feeling stuck. I always like to remind people to look out for that pass because it's more than likely your best option to get you out of trouble. Defensive approach, I like having this on 70. Of course the game is just out. We will play around with this as the weeks go and find the best option, but for now I like having this high so I can win the ball high up the pitch. I'll have all my players high up the pitch ready to go to counter attack. Then if you hit L1 or LB on Xbox, you can come over to your player roles. So for the goalkeeper, I just leave him on default. I don't see a reason to play around with that too much. For your two centre backs, it is very important that you have these both set to defender. The other options like stopper will actually cause your defenders to come out of position and leave a big hole in your defence, so make sure you use defender is by far the best. And if you can get a player with defender plus, it is a bonus, but it's not necessary for these tactics. For your left and right back, make sure you have these both set to full back and balance. That's going to give you a lot of defensive support, stop you from being countered. Also, I like to control my fullbacks runs myself manually, so having these both on fullback would mean I'm in full control of when they do and don't get forward. So having both your left and right back on fullback is so important in this game. Moving up to the midfield, and this is where we're going to see these player roles play a big part in these tactics. For your CDM, you want a player who is very defensive minded. For one of your centre mids, you want a well-rounded centre mid who can kind of do it all. And for your other centre mid, you want a more attacking player. In the CDM, you want a player that has the deep line playmaker role. I have Camavinga, who is a lot cheaper than I thought he would be. If you want a more expensive player, Tonali is a great option. Marquinhos, if you have them kind of coins, you can go for Patrick Vieira. But Camavinga is a lot cheaper than I thought he would be, and he plays incredibly well in this role. Of course, you want to have him on deep line playmaker and defend. Then moving up to the two midfielders. For the well-rounded midfielder, I have them set to holding and defend. Like I said, this player is always at the edge of the box available for a pass with Camavinga just behind them. So especially look out for this player when you're at the edge of the box. Instead of whipping the ball in hopelessly looking for a cross, feed the ball back out to your centre mid. Stay in possession is the most important part in this game. Don't cross the ball in hopelessly looking for a goal. It is so much better to keep the ball in your possession, so always look for that centre mid pass. You'll find it with Llorente in my team or Camavinga in my team, and your team, whoever you have in your CDM, and the centre mid position will work perfectly. Always look for that pass. I have him set to holding and defend. Of course, if you can get holding plus or holding plus plus would be even better. I don't have either of them and he's playing really well, so if you can get holding plus or holding plus plus, you are flying with this centre mid. But just remember to look out for a player who's well balanced, who has a good bit of pace, great passing, and of course is defensively solid. Then moving over to the more attacking centre mid. This formation attacks a lot like a 4-2-3-1, so think of this player as your cam, the player who's going to get forward, create chances and score a few goals for you along the way. And I have this player set to playmaker and attack to make sure he does get forward, and I have playmaker plus plus on Gutty. Now it might be a bit difficult for you to get a player who has playmaker plus plus, so if you can just get a player with the normal plus, that's fine. But if you do have a player with that plus plus, you will be flying in this position. With this centre mid and the rest of the players left to come up in this team, it is important that they all have some sort of role on them, so make sure they have the player maker plus or the player maker plus plus. So moving on to the left and right mid, you want to have these both set to balanced and inside forward. With inside forward on your left and right wing, they will constantly be looking to get in behind and get into the best scoring position possible. A lot of the time that will make your left and right wing come quite narrow, so it will give you a lot of passing options to play kind of ticky-tacky quick football, which can cut through your opponent's defense very quickly. With the passing in this game, it is very quick, it is rapid. So with your left and right wing both on inside forward, they will come in narrow and give you plenty of options to play quick passes, quick 1-2s with your strikers and get them in behind quickly. And of course you need the inside forward plus or the inside forward plus plus. I have the plus plus on Foden, and honestly his positioning is incredible. A lot of the goals I score come because of the runs that Foden makes. I know it is really hard to get a player with the inside forward plus plus at this point in the game, but if you can, it will make a huge difference to your team. And onto your striker, you want to set them to poacher and attack. With the poacher role, they will become an out and out goal scorer. In this year's game, I find with that poacher role, your players are making runs in behind better than I've ever seen in any other FC or FIFA game. So the poacher plus or the poacher plus plus is incredibly important on this player. With that player role, they will be making the best runs you've ever seen made by a striker in FIFA or at FC. A few things to look out for in your striker. Of course, you want them to have pace if they're making them runs in behind. It also helps a lot if you have a striker who has a decent passing. Try get a striker with 75 passing or above, because like I said, the passing in this game is rapid, so you need good passing so you can make them quick rapid passes with your left and right wing to split your opponent's defense open. So yeah, set your striker to poacher and attack, and they are the full tactics. I hope this video helped you. If it did, make sure to leave a like, and like I said, subscribing helps out massively. If you do use these tactics, make sure to let me know in the comments how they worked out for you, and let me know what formation you would like me to try next.